friends, it's Bella and welcome to my thought for Sunday. I think every week concerns and things that I think about, and all our worries really. I think the Sermon on the Mount sort of covers so many things that in our life we need advice and help with. It's certainly, the Sermon on the Mount I love the Bible, but the Sermon on the Mount has always had a special place in my heart. I just really like it. Now, I've said every week that I am no goody-goody and, you know, my thoughts are very loosely based on scripture. But for the next 4 weeks, I'd like to use the Sermon on the Mount as the things that I tell you about, that I worry about, that I'm appreciative of, and so forth. And they'll all loosely be based on Sermon on the Mount. And I will put the scriptures every week above of the particular ones that I'm thinking of. And for this week, I'd like to think about when Jesus said, don't worry. Don't worry. Tomorrow has sufficient worries for itself. Now, can we stop worrying? Can we, out of everything that hits us in our life, can we honestly say that we don't worry? And can I honestly say that loving Sermon on the Mount has given me the ability to absolutely not worry about things? No, it hasn't. It hasn't. It gives me comfort. It gives me a great deal of comfort. It's at the moment, of course, it's this coronavirus everybody's, worried about, and understandably. A lot of people are worried that things are still going to be open and therefore it will spread faster. A lot of people are worried about if things are closed and they have families, they've got to stay home and look after their families. How can they earn the money? It's a concern for everybody. A lot of people are worried about their elderly grandparents and parents and, people that are sick. And I understand that completely. And to be empathetic is the answer, I think, in everything, really. To sort of try and give comfort to those that have that fear. But that I see that fear genuine. I understand that completely. At the moment, and I'm only saying at the moment, my fear is I'm quite rational with it. I feel at the moment I'm being quite rational. My daughter obviously has great concern. So they've got children. If the schools do close down, then she'll come and get me and take me down there, and I'll stay down there while they're away, because what do? Family come first, don't they? So she'd be covered with that. So that's good for her. And I'm not, although I have a lot of ailments, and I do have a lot of ailments. One of them isn't my lung capacity. I don't suffer from any sort of respiratory problems. So, please God, that will keep me stronger to look after the children. So, yeah, I'm trying to deal with it rationally. Do I always do that? No, I don't. I always look to the scripture. I always pray. But there are times and things that's happened in my life that I've been absolutely devastated and frightened out of my life. I think I mentioned to you, a couple of years ago maybe, that my daughter had a scare. She had a dimple in her breast and she had a scare. And it was 10 days, 8 days, between the doctor saying you should have, examined, to her having it examined and coming through that all it was a indentation where she was breastfeeding. I'd been breastfeeding for a long time. But those 10 days, 9-10 days, were the worst days I can ever remember. The fear, the irrational fear as well, because I was imagining so much. I mean, the doctor has already said to her, it's very unlikely, but I can't even say it. I couldn't even breathe. The fear for her. And, that there's been other times in my life when I've been so scared of things. And I'm not saying or meaning in any way that if you believe the Sermon on the Mount, if you believe they are Jesus' words, then you wouldn't worry anymore. For me, I take great comfort in them. But sometimes it's a fight in certain circumstances, as it was with my daughter. It was a God's will be, but please, it's so hard. It's so hard in those circumstances. I think things that don't directly affect, I guess. There are so many people that are terrified. This virus hasn't touched my family as yet. So I'm all right to say I'm pretty rational with it. If it touches my family, am I going to feel any different? Am I going to look at it as logically, as rationally? Probably not. That time will have to tell if that time comes. I can understand. We've had a lot of people coming in our borders, coming across on boats from terrible, terrible war-torn countries. And what they've had to live through is something that is beyond our imagination. And they've got their children and their babies and the people that they love, and they've tried to get to safety. Now, I'm not talking about the people that will do it just to get a better life, just to, let's jump on this bandwagon, because there's those as well. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the genuine people who are so frightened that they will chance this journey. I can't imagine being in that situation. I can imagine that whatever situation I was in, I would do anything to protect my children, anything to protect my grandchildren. So I understand these people. I understand why they would do it. Do I understand the people at the borders? Or the people that read the newspapers and say, send them back. Just send them back. We've got enough people in this country, send them back. Do I understand them? I understand that they fear the country will be overcrowded. I don't think they're looking at it in a sense of, I don't think there's a lot of empathy or compassion just to say send them back. I don't know politically what to do and what not to do. I don't understand that. But to have the feeling of just, for goodness sake, send them back. No, I don't understand that. Because they're the self-same people that are going to buy in supermarkets, that are emptying the shelves, that are bulk buying the most ridiculous amount of toilet tissue and pasta and rice. They are going absolutely crazy for it. So what are they compassionate about? What are they thinking about? They're taking it from everybody else. If there's enough to go around, it's just that some people are just greedy. But they're frightened too. Some are frightened too. We can't put everybody in the same, you know, situation. Some people are just, right, let's get it in. Who cares about anybody else? And some people are, oh my goodness, you know, with the children, what's going to happen if we don't have this? You know, there's a different attitude. Not everybody is the same. Some are just buying for buying's sake. And some are buying because they're frightened. They're frightened they're going to not be able to feed their children. They're frightened of school shutting down because they won't be able to work. Who's going to pay the mortgage? Who's going to pay the rent? You know, people are genuinely scared. And I think the only thing we can do at a time like this, when it's a worldwide thing, is just to be what I want. I want to be the best person I can, to follow Jesus' footsteps and to show compassion. In the human side of my mind, I think, what the heck are you doing? Why are you making such a fuss over all this toilet paper? I want to say that, you know, that's what I think. Would Jesus say that? I don't think so. I think he would have compassion for people that are panicking because they generally are scared. We don't know enough. There's not been enough release of news. We just don't know. So I understand that fear. I really do understand that fear. Let's treat people with compassion. They might have a completely different fear to us. Completely different fear. For instance, I've got a little dog. You know I love my little Tess. She's getting old now, bless her heart. But she's such part of our family. Me and Baz and Tessa, she's such part of our family. And I'm sure if you've got a dog and you're close to your dog, you know what I mean. But people come into my house. I have friends and people that will come in that are frightened of Tess. Now, to me, that's, what on earth, Tess? She'd lick you to death, please. But, you know, their fear is genuine. They are genuinely frightened of dogs. So how do I treat that? How should I treat that? Should I say, look, I'm sorry, but she's my dog, and I know she won't hurt you, so if you want to come in, I'm sorry. I do my best. If it's a genuine concern, and it's not, oh, I don't like dogs, because they won't get in the house. But if it's a genuine fear of dogs, then I won't let Tess near them. You know, I'll put Tess away. I won't let her near them. And Tess is happy in all of this house. She owns it, I'm sure she does. She's happy in all this house. So to put a doggy gate up for a little while, well, she's fine with that. And isn't that a better attitude? You know, because I don't understand it. I think people are crazy to be frightened of Tess, but they don't think that. They're frightened. So I think being compassionate and understanding other people's fears, and not expecting to be super people or superwoman, you know. I do wholeheartedly believe the Sermon on the Mount. But I don't think everybody that does should think, oh, well, that's it, I fear nothing. I mean, I am frightened about fearing nothing now. I prayed to God, I've prayed to Jesus, I'm that's it, I'm not frightened of nothing. I don't think it works like that, and I don't think it was meant to work like that, because we are human beings. We are all human beings, and all we can do is our very, very best. I think fear is a hard one. It's a hard one because all our fears and worries are different. I hope you understand again where I'm coming from, guys. I never want to overstep the mark. I never want to say I'm right and everybody else is wrong at all. I don't want to this is not a Bible group. This is not, you know, this is just sharing my feelings in a very tiny way, including the scriptures in a very tiny way, that because that's important in my life. But I also want to sort of humanise some of the thoughts and humanise some of the ideas that people have, really. Although I respect everyone, you know that, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see you in my next video. You take care of yourselves. Love you all. Bye, guys.